Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of 100% Yourself with Barbara. I am your host, Barbara, and today I am joined by the wonderful Sandy Rutherford of Inspired
Destinies.
Yes, see, I got confused again because I keep wanting to say destinations, but it's destinies, which is also quite lovely. It's a pleasure having you here today, Sandy, and I look forward to our talk.
Thank you, Barbara. It's a pleasure to be here. I've been looking forward to this.
Me too. So the first thing I'd like to ask you is, and my title of my podcast is Being 100% Yourself with Barbara. So I was wondering, what does being 100% yourself mean to you, both in your private life as well as in your business?
Oh, it's such a great question. And there's so many aspects to answering that question. Because whether it's personally or professionally, 100%, being 100% me really is all about knowing who and what I'm all about and giving myself permission to not only explore what I'm all about, but to express it. Because so often we shut down, oh, they won't like that, or I better not come across this way, and you know what? Wayne Dyer had a great, the late Wayne Dyer, wonderful expert in the whole field of spirituality and personal development. He had a great quote saying, what other people think of me is none of my business.
Yes, I love that one.
I know, it's such a powerful one. And I always add on, what I think of me is all of my business. So, you know, to be 100% me is really allowing myself, you know, back, as I just mentioned, giving myself permission to explore really, who am I? Because if I want to be free, I got to be me. If I want to succeed beyond my wildest imaginations, I got to be me. So I better figure out who me is. So 100% me is really going inside, listening to me, my inner voice. You know what? We all have a powerful, powerful inner voice, but we're not conditioned to listen to it. We're not taught, oh, listen to the inner voice. We say, no, listen to so-and-so, your coach, your teacher, your parent, your friend. They'll tell you what to do. They'll tell you what's right for you. It's like, well, hang on. I think I want to go inside for a second and say, what's right for me? So that being 100% me is being able to tap into my inner voice, my inner desires, understand what it is I want, learn more and more about me, and just like you and every member of your audience, there's no limit, there's no end to who and what we are and can be. So it's allowing yourself, giving yourself permission to explore that and allow that to come to the surface. That's a long answer to your question. Is that?
No, it's a beautiful answer to my question, and you're so spot on. And I love the way you explained it. And there are actually multiple questions I want to ask. So now it's fighting in my head which one I'm going to ask first. But I think I'll go with, why do you think this is so hard for so many people?
Well, again, we're not conditioned to do that, and we've put way too much weight on the opinions of others. So even if we're conditioned or we were trying to give ourselves permission, well, you know, I'm stuck in this job in this sort of business, but I'd really love to be an artist or you know, a singer or a writer. But oh, you know, what would they think of me? And what so that's the first thing. We put way too much weight on the opinions of others, but we also don't give ourselves near enough credit for what we truly are capable of. So I might go, you know what, I'd be way happier if I were an artist, but how would I do that? Artists can't make money. There's your first negative conditioning, right? All this negative conditioning. Artists can't make money, or I wouldn't know how to go that route, or I need to support my family. I can't give up so all this, you know, rejection. You're starting to reject an idea that's come from within, and we're rejecting it with all this external noise.
Yes, they are all limiting beliefs that are limiting us from stepping into our true potential.
Yeah.
And I see that happening when people are conditioned either by parents, by religion, a lot by society.
Yep.
And what you said about Wayne Dyer's quote, "Oh, what people think of me is none of my business." But that is something that's really hard for most people, because especially the highly sensitive people, the empath people, the intuitive people, and the people that tend to be the viewers and listeners of my podcast, they find what other people think of them extremely important.
Most people do. They're in great company. Yeah.
Right? Yes.
Absolutely.
And where does that come from?
Well, you know what? It happens naturally, as it should, as a child, right? So it's mostly, I always say, mostly well-intentioned people called parents and teachers and coaches and community leaders, religious leaders. And as a child, you need that because you don't have the capability of making your own decisions and, deciding at the age of 5, I want to go this direction, not, so you need that guidance. But I think we're society, well, this is kind of neat. We're getting philosophical here.
Right?
I think where societies at large are kind of failing is at some point, whether it's 10 or 12 or 14 years, to allow an individual to start to self-direct, because we clamp down, no, you shouldn't do that. Even as simple as, you're on the hockey team or the basketball team, you're a forward, you're not a defense, or you're not a goalie, no, you do that. It's like, but well, I always wanted to play goalie though, right? So I think we need to allow for a little bit of self-direction to come in way earlier, and provide some parameters around that. But you know what? We're all incredibly creative beings. Starting from, you watch a 2-year-old, how creative are they? They're playing with their toys and you go, wow, what are they even thinking? They're just caught in imagination. So we're incredibly powerfully creative beings. And we tend to shut that down as we get older and, stop daydreaming and pay attention here, right? So, I think that's a partial answer, but a big one. It's allow that self-direction, that self-creation to come through at an earlier age.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. What I see is that when we are born, we are just perfect in every way. When we turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, there is no limit to our imagination. There is no limit to our abilities, at least not in our mind. We feel we can conquer the world. We believe we can do anything. And we want to explore everything. Most children do not have fear. I saw that with my niece the first time we took her skiing when she was 4. She just went straight down the hill and she refused to make any turns because the speed was just amazing. And I remember the first time I went skiing, because I was already an adult, I was so afraid. And they don't have that. And I think where it goes wrong is when children go to school. Then we tend to put them in a certain lane. And at a very young age, we already need to determine what type of lane will that be for this child. And sometimes it's a lane that parents want for their child. Like if both parents are lawyers or both parents are doctors, then they kind of want their child to be very smart and to have like a very high education. And a lot of parents have difficulty accepting when their child just cannot cope or cannot be that version of the child that they want the child to be. But it already starts in kindergarten, where everybody sort of needs to behave in the same way, needs to eat at the same time, and needs to do the same type of chores, instead of looking at the individual child and seeing what are your unique abilities, what makes you you, and how can we turn that into a life, into a profession, into a career, into something that suits you really well.
And how can we turn that into some learnings? Can you imagine a kindergarten class where, the teacher's trying to corral everybody to do these certain tasks or arts and crafts or whatever, but you've got one boy or girl wanting to, no, he or she's going over somewhere else and wanting to totally create something. No, come back here. No, we're going to do this. No. And what if we got the whole class to follow that one?
Yes.
What are they trying to create? Let's let them continue to create. Why don't we come along with them? Right? I mean, yes, there's some fun things we could do. And, there are some educational organizations out there that are trying to instill a very different approach to education, especially educating the young. And I think that's a great idea. There's just, The bottom line is we have, you said we are perfection. In fact, we're still perfection. We just have a lot of noise, a lot of, self-limiting beliefs on top of that, conditioning, paradigms, programming, wiring, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
But within that is perfection in every single one of us, and unlimited talent and giftedness and capability. It's staggering how talented each and every one of us truly is. So it comes down to allowing creation. Let's allow way more creation. I remember Bob Proctor saying once, you can have massive organizations that have a wee tiny creation department.
Yes.
Like, what are we doing? You should be having massive organizations or small organizations with massive creation departments, and then try to leverage all of that creativity. Every one of us has so much creativity, and the more we allow ourselves to be creative, the more authentic we can be to ourselves.
Exactly. I think we are born with a tremendous amounts of gifts and talents and stuff. And I think mainly because of fear, I think fear plays a big role in it, that our society and our school system and also our church try to mold us into a certain person. And the negativity that we talked about before, which also translating into negative beliefs, negative or limiting beliefs or negative paradigms, they manifest or they get created in the first 7 years of our life. That means that because we are open and we are very pliable and moldable at a young age, that our parents and the adults in our life play a huge role in how authentic we become later on in life. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely, they do. Absolutely. But the parents and teachers and coaches, etc., they are just operating through their own programming paradigms, right? So they're guiding us according to their own limiting beliefs. So you just get caught up in this handed down set of beliefs and values about how life should operate, how you should, what you're capable of. But it's a false reality. It's just other people's programming. Again, usually well-intentioned, but it's other people's programming. But it's a false reality. Exactly. Until you can go inside and take a look, well, hang on a second. I'm going to shut out the noise for a second and take a look at what do I really want? What if it didn't matter to anybody and I could access all the money and resources in the world, what would I love to be doing? Most people will find themselves in giving very different answers to where they are right now. And that's what we have to unlock.
I totally agree. And what you call, what you were talking about, I call them the rules, the bullshit rules of life. Those are the beliefs and the paradigms and everything that has been handed down from generation to generation, but also added by society, by religion, and by the other people that we come into contact with. And I don't believe in blaming people. I also don't believe in what most psychologists do in spitting out your past and laying blame for this on that person and laying blame on that. I don't either. Yep. No, they are also the person that they became based on their set of rules and rules and the things that they learned and the things that they came to believe based on their parents. So everybody is the product of their upbringing. Sure. And the things that they encountered in that life. And there is nothing wrong with it. That's just the way life works. But at a certain time, we reach an age where we can take hold or take charge of our own lives, where we can say, yeah, but wait a minute, you say that this is the way things are supposed to be, but why? And is that actually true? Is this really the only way that we can do this? Is this really the only way that I can do this? Is this really the thing that I want to be doing with my life? And so many people get burdened by expectations by their parents, like taking over the family business as an important one. But there are many, many more. And for some reason, somewhere along the line, we have forgotten that we have a choice.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And the beautiful truth is the past has no bearing on your future unless you let it.
Exactly.
So even if you were caught up in stuff that you didn't want to do and you haven't been enjoying and it's been a negative or toxic experience, We don't, the work that I do with people, I don't care what's gone on in your past. We're forward looking. What is it you want to create in your future? You're capable, again, of creating anything. So what is it you want to create? Some of it's not easy because you got your, your 1 foot stuck in old paradigms and self-limiting beliefs and all that stuff. But it absolutely is phenomenal work to start looking forward and get the foot unstuck from the past and say, you know what, I don't care about the past. And you know what, a big aspect of being able to do that is forgiveness.
Yes.
We're all capable of soaring. I love to use the analogy of an eagle. An eagle can soar, so can you and every one of us. You're capable of soaring. Imagine an eagle holding a big heavy anchor from a huge ship in its talons. What would it do? Trying to get up and up again and down, right? That's exactly what resentment or lack of forgiveness is. It's a huge anchor. So as you release that resentment, and forgiveness has nothing to do with the person you're forgiving, and everything about you has everything to do about you, because you don't want to give negative energy. You don't want to hang around negative energy anymore. It's like that anchor. So as you forgive yourself and let go of that resentment, you're capable of soaring.
Exactly. I love the way you explained that, because for the longest time, I had a huge problem with forgiveness, because I had learned that forgiveness meant telling the other person basically that it was okay what they did.
Yep.
And it was not okay what they did. So that's why I had a huge problem forgiving them for what they did, because I felt like I needed to tell them it's okay now, while some people did things that will never ever be okay.
That's where most people go with forgiveness. That's why it's so hard.
Right.
It feels so hard to forgive, because that's the wrong mindset around what forgiveness really is.
Yes, but that's what I had been taught. So that's then one of the bullshit rules, one of the rules that I was stuck in, that was preventing me from spreading my wings and fly. That's an analogy I love to use, so that blends perfectly with your eagle. That's what it's about. And that's why I wanted to talk more about forgiveness, because forgiveness, indeed, it's not about the other person. It's not saying the other person, okay, I forgive you for what you did, and there's now room for you in my life again. That's not what it's about. It's about forgiving yourself, but mostly forgiveness is about releasing trapped energy. It's It's about releasing the negativity. It's about releasing the burden. It's about releasing the anchor that the eagle had in its talons, so that it can actually not just spread their wings and fly, but actually soar. I like that word.
Well, and back to your point about choice, we always have choice. So, forgiveness has nothing to do with the person that you're forgiving. No. You're not condoning their actions. What you're choosing to do is not get caught up in the negative energy around that anymore, because it's holding you down.
Exactly.
And what the crazy truth is too, the person that you're pissed off at probably has no clue. They've moved on. They it could be 20 years ago, it could be yesterday, and what, you're mad at me? I didn't know you were mad. Like most cases, they have no clue, and they're living a happy life, and you're still caught up in a negative energy. It's all about you. Do you want to be caught up in negative energy? It's choice.
Yes.
You can choose to go, I'm just letting that one go. And that's what forgiveness is. I just want to emphasize the point again that you raised. It's so important. You're not saying what you did is okay. No, you're not. It has nothing to do with that. It could be very wrong what they did. You're choosing not to go there anymore and get caught up in that negative energy. Allow yourself to soar. We're so on the same page there, Barbara. It's such a big point, right?
Yes, that's why I wanted to spend a little time on this subject, because it's about choosing to look to the future. It's about choosing to step into the best version of yourself. It's choosing to vibrate at the level of love or above, so that you attract the life and the people that you actually want in your life. Because as long as you are still stuck in a negative connection form with that person, being actively angry or passively angry or just hurt or upset or whatever negative energies and emotions can come with the situation that has happened, it's basically giving a signal to the universe to invite more of that into your life. And when you explain it this way to people, they say, no, 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 I don't want more of that in my life. Exactly. So that's why you need to forgive, not to say it's okay. No, it's to say, I've moved on. I want to consciously focus on bringing in everything that I love to have in my life. And this is not part of it.
And here's another fun analogy along those same lines. Can you imagine the negative energy, the situation that you resent and that so upsets you is in the past. You look over your shoulder and it could be storming. Okay. So the storms are that negative past of whatever's gone on. Imagine yourself sitting in a car and you're ready to go. Your hands are on the wheel, but you're moving forward, but you're looking in the rear view mirror at that storm. How far do you think you can drive forward in your life if you're looking in the rear view mirror the whole time? You're going to crash, i.e. you'll sabotage your forward progress.
Not
right?
only that, you also don't notice the beauty around you along your journey. You will not notice opportunities when you pass them by, because you're so focused on your rear view mirror and everything that's happening there that you are kind of oblivious to the now and to the possibilities. And forgiveness, it's closely related to letting go, but also to surrendering to what can be.
Allowing, surrendering, allowing.
Yes.
Allow what can be, because so much can be for each and every one of us. So much.
Yes.
So allow it. You can't allow it if you're sitting in resentment. Right? That's just closing the doors.
Exactly. And I also learned that there are things that are actually making us paddle upstream, to go into the analogy thing. For most of my life, I found out I had been paddling upstream. Even when I thought I was going downstream, I was still paddling upstream, because when you desire something really badly and you put a lot of effort into it, you're still going upstream. Even though you might do visualizations, you might do meditations, you might do your journaling, you might be focused towards the future that you actually want. You've done your forgiveness, you've let go of your resentment, you're actively picturing your future. But if you work too hard in getting there, you're still paddling upstream, instead of allowing what can be, allowing yourself to be taken down the river of life and to flow with the current of life and to enjoy what you see on the riverbanks, to enjoy what fish.
I love your analogies.
Come up.
Yeah, I love your analogies, and the flow of life, the flow of who and what you are. When you're paddling upstream, you're ignoring who and what you are.
Yes.
When you're tapping into more and more of your gifts, your potential, your capabilities, which are unlimited, you'll feel like you're going downstream. Right? It'll feel effortless because you're totally congruent with who and what you are.
Yes, and that's what I've learned in all the years that I've now been doing this, that's what it's about. It's about being effortless. It's about allowing, it's about having fun. It's about creating from a place of effortless wonder. And for many of us, that is a big issue, because I had been raised that if I wanted to be successful, I needed to work hard. And if I wasn't successful yet, I needed to work harder. And if success then still didn't come, I needed to up my game.
Yep. We're all conditioned with that. I agree. That's what I learned that too.
Right?
That's not what it's about. In fact, you don't have to work that hard at all.
No.
If you're 100% yourself, you're not working hard.
Well, exactly, but it's even further than that. You know, I used to think I needed to work at least 8 hours a day, and if in the middle of the week I would go to the lake or something to just relax, I felt bad in the beginning of my business, because I felt like I wasn't doing enough. I felt like I needed to do more in my business. But that is also part of your effortless allowing. You need to trust that when you have fun at the lake and you take an afternoon for yourself with friends or by yourself because the weather is nice and you just feel like it, that doesn't stop your attraction, that doesn't stop things from coming in that you want. In fact, it's the opposite. It probably allows them to come in much faster. But it feels kind of counterintuitive, right?
It does, because Again, we're not taught this. We're not conditioned to think and feel this way. We're not conditioned to understand. We're not taught to understand how success works or how life works. In a nutshell, everything is energy and everything's about vibration.
Yes.
So when you are more and more authentic, more true to yourself, how do you feel? We feel happier. We feel more excited. We feel more confident. Well, what frequencies, what vibrations are those feelings on? Much higher. Right? When we're working against ourselves, we get frustrated, we get pissed off, we get discouraged. What frequency is that on? Much lower. How productive do we feel when we're in low vibrations? Not very, right? But when we're in high vibrations, woohoo, I'm like, we want to lean in to life, to our work. Let's get things done, man. So you're way more productive when you're in a higher vibe. It's all about energy. It really is.
It is all about energy, and for a lot of people, that's the hardest thing to wrap their head around. They feel like they need to push themselves to finish something because it needs to be finished that day. And I used to be one of those people who did that way when I started out, because that's what I had been taught. And not again to place blame on the people that taught me this. It's what they had been taught, and there's no wrong in it. It's just a way that a lot of people have been teaching.
Right.
That's been handed down, and we have the ability to stop and think, no, I don't want that. So if you are trying to push yourself, for instance, to edit this podcast and to get it online because it needs to be there at a certain date, but you're not in the right energy, or you're just not where you need to be to actually complete that, then if you push yourself, it becomes like a struggle. Right. And a struggle is going upstream, and a struggle means lower vibrations. You're not enjoying, you're stressed. Stress is also a lower vibration. Right. So even if
that means it's lower productivity, right? So you won't be as productive. Yeah.
Yeah. And even if you manage to push yourself through that, because most of us, we are very strong and we are very powerful and we can make ourselves push through this. But then usually the results are also disappointing. You're not getting the viewers you want or the listeners you want, or you're not happy with the editing. You spent the entire day on it, but it's still not the way you want. And if you had chosen to just think, well, today is just not the day that I'm going to do this. Today it's sunny, it's beautiful, I'm going to go outside, or whatever it is that does feel better, and you do that, right, then probably maybe even the same evening or the next day, you have this wonderful energy because you rested and you took care of yourself and you did things that made you happy. Then you will edit this thing in 20 minutes and you're really happy with the end results and people are loving it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've advised so many clients that most of my clients are working with me because of business or professional reasons. Yes. And most have their own businesses. And it's like when you're ready to get on a call with a prospect, and you're in a lousy mood, reschedule that call. You do not want to be in a negative energy getting on a call with a prospect. But when you're in a great energy, call a prospect. When that prospect says yes, how does that feel? Feels great. They said yes. Make 5 more calls. Oh, that's a rule of thumb. 5 calls if you get a yes, right, for a new client, because you're in an amazing vibration and you have law of cause and effect, right? You're the cause. All thoughts, all feelings, all behaviors have an effect. So we are the cause, but the effect happens automatically. We can't help it. So it begs the question, what effect am I going to have if I'm in a lousy mood, a lousy vibe? Mm-hmm. The effect will not be optimal at all. It might be really bad. So, to be aware more and more of our vibe, well, how am I feeling? What am I thinking and feeling right now? And making choices based on that, boy, life would look a lot different.
Most definitely. And it goes even further than just hopping on a call. Hopping on a call is a very, very important one. But it's also when you need to record videos. If you're not in the right energy, not in the right frame of mind, don't record videos. Don't do lives. Don't do pre-recorded ones. Don't work on creating a webinar. Don't work on creating a program. Basically, just don't work at all in your business, because it's an energy that you can bring into your business that's not good for any part of your business, right?
Yeah. Absolutely true.
Absolutely. So if you feel lousy, make feeling okay, and then from okay to great your priority before you do anything in your business again. I had that happen 2 weeks ago, I think. We were supposed to do a networking event. I'm organizing a new way of networking for more intuitive, empathic people. That's not the traditional way of networking. And we had a lot of people register, and I was really looking forward to it. And then one of my speakers, his dad was dying, and my mom and my uncle both had a health scare, ended up in the hospital, and were not expected to live through the night. Luckily for me, they did. His dad actually did die, but then we were both not in the right energy, and we decided to just postpone the networking event because it would not have been good for me, for him, but also not for the people participating.
Yeah, and you know what? I just want to share with your viewers. It's important to understand that there's many laws of the universe, right? There's 7 primary laws, and one of the primary laws, and these are natural laws. A law means it applies to every person, every time, everywhere. It's not like, well, sometimes we'll listen. No, it's a law, and one of the laws is the law of rhythm. Everything in this universe, this is science and physics. Everything in this universe is energy, has rhythm, from the solar systems right down to the cells in our bodies, our biorhythms, the moon phases, the seasons, night, day, everything. And you cannot stay in a high vibe 100% of the time.
No.
You will come off that high vibe. So it's natural, it's normal for your vibe to go down. Now, the neat thing is, one, to become aware. Awareness, if personal development is all about awareness. If you're not learning to be more and more aware of yourself, you cannot course correct. And so development ceases. So to become aware of, oh, I'm feeling a little more in a funk today. Funk, I said. And I'm feeling kind of low vibe stuff. That can be absolutely normal. We need, sometimes the system just needs a little bit of R&R, but what you can do when you become aware is you can reduce how low it'll go, and you can come out of it faster. And I have a tool that I call a funk buster.
Wow.
And it's all about, it's a cool tool, and it's just all about naming it. Okay. Oh, you become aware. It's like, okay, why am I feeling, just name it. Usually it's because we're spinning something. Now, occasionally it's because you're just physically tired. You've had a tough week or whatever, and that's okay too. So give yourself, relax, have a nap, whatever. But sometimes, a lot of the time, we're spinning something negatively and we don't even know it. We do this all the time. Like, what if I blow this presentation that's coming up? Right? So just call it out. First, okay, my vibe's gone down. You know what? I think I'm just spinning something over here. And when you bust a funk by stopping what you're doing, just as you've been talking about, Barbara, just don't do that. Don't do that call. Don't do that networking session. Stop what you're doing. And I tell my clients, put together what I call a playlist of 5 things that raise your vibe. It could be a call of a favorite friend. Every time you're on the phone with them, they are so much fun. They raise your vibe. It could be watching an episode of your favorite sitcom. Could be going for a walk in the forest. Could be playing with your kids, your dogs. Could be listening to a motivational video or an upbeat song and singing at the top of your lungs, right? Whatever it is. It can sometimes only take 5 minutes of singing an upbeat song, or a couple of hours of a walk, or sometimes it's a day. But do something that breaks the vibe you're in, raises your vibe, and then do one thing that you're thinking of doing. You might have had 8 things on your list of things to do today, but your vibe doesn't work too well for it. So shift your vibe, become aware, do something to shift your vibe, and then do something small, or one of the things that you might have wanted to do today. And then celebrate. You just took control of your vibration. And that's what it's all about.
Yes, I love that you're sharing that. I have something similar. I call it the HSP rescue kit, and this is part of it. That you think about all the things that make you feel like your okay self again. So that when you feel this funk, the way you're calling it, then I also rate it. How funky am I feeling? Is it a level 2 funk, or is it a level 8 funk?
Yeah.
There are graduations in how bad you feel. Yep. And then you also need to do a countermeasure that's in line with that. So it could be taking a bath, or taking a bath with some nice scented oils, drinking a glass of wine, reading your favorite book, listening to some great jazz, or whatever it is that
whatever it is.
right?
Yeah.
And sometimes you need to combine things. For me, a personal favorite is always nature.
Yeah, me too.
Nature has such a wonderful effect. And so I go walking,
Yeah.
sometimes long walks, short walks, sometimes I bring my book, sometimes not, whatever,
No, likewise.
right?
But the thing is, you've got to have that, what I call a playlist. Do that ahead of time when you're in a good mood,
Exactly.
because a funk puts you into a brain fog.
You cannot think about how to
No,
get out of it when you're in it.
sabotages your brain.
To
Right?
have that beforehand, so that when you feel like a funk, the only thing you need to remember is look at my list and
Exactly.
do the one that calls out to you.
Exactly. That's it.
That's it. Yes.
I love it. We're both on the same vibe.
Yeah, and it's a very important subject because so many people encounter this. I think we are going through a massive shift from the old ways to the new ways,
Yeah.
and these are all growing pains, so to say, things
Yeah.
that come with
You're right.
stepping into this new future. And another thing I'd like to talk to you about is a lot of people that I've spoken to since COVID hit, they have had their life turned upside down. It's had a huge impact on so many levels in so many ways. And what I see and hear now under a lot of business owners is that what they thought was their dream, they're not sure if that's their dream anymore.
Mm.
Have you seen that too?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. Because as you say, so much has shifted. There's been a lot of change. And certainly, one of the things that's become evident is a higher emphasis, a greater emphasis on family values.
Yes.
Right? That shifted majorly in a good way. That's a very good thing that's come out of it. So yeah, what people thought before was their dream, because they were caught up in that path for so long, that in that path, then I guess this is my dream. But now, we've had the great resignation, they're calling it, right? The mass exodus of employees out of companies.
Yes.
Now, sky's the limit. Now, the sky was always the limit, but because our thinking, a bowling alley has those gutters.
Yeah.
That's where we get caught in those gutters, those narrow lines of thinking, that you're caught in this career path, and I guess I have to stay here. But now with this exodus and people and so much shifting in the economy and the environment, the sky truly is the limit that we're aware of now. It was always a limit, we just weren't aware of that. So now the awareness has gone up as, oh, what do I really want to do? And that's great. I love that. We should all be taking a look at that.
That is very true, and that is indeed what's happening with the employees. But what I meant was more the business owners that already did a lot of personal development. They might have had a program with Bob Proctor or listen to Joe Dispenza. They've already done a lot of work for themselves. They got over getting clear on what it is that they really wanted. They had the dream for their business. They were stepping into the sky is the limit, and this is where I want to go with my business. Yep. And all of a sudden, that also doesn't feel like them anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think for some of that's the same reasons. I mean, things have shifted. When the ground underneath us shifts, then things start to open up for us. Like the ground underneath us, again, we used to think this is my business, and with all the personal development, this is what I think I want to do. But there has been such a shift in the environment that those tracks of where you think you wanted to go, those tracks have softened. Mm-hmm. And now it's opening up. There's more opportunity there, and with value shifting, that's going to create a difference in wait, what do I really want? It's like I had somebody that wanted to go for to be a cardiac surgeon, mm-hmm. and she was totally committed to being a cardiac surgeon. Well, with what's gone on the last couple of years, she's now going, I don't think I want 12 years in the schooling and the interning and the residency before my life settles down. It's like her values shifted over the last couple of years, right? So, and that's a good thing. That's become aware of who you are. What do you really want? And if things shift, that's okay. Give yourself permission to explore. If you're starting to feel out of sync with your original dream goal, that's okay. Mm-hmm. Give yourself permission to explore that. I wouldn't make any rash decisions on that. I would probably take a week or two get every morning, grab a journal, grab your coffee, smoothie, whatever you have, and sit in a nice comfy chair for 15, 20 minutes in your favorite chair and just dream, imagine, explore. What do I really want? And jot down, don't reject anything, because that as soon as we reject things, oh, that wouldn't work. Then we're snuffing out creativity.
Mhm.
But if you just do that every morning and you let anything that comes to mind, because anything that pops is coming from within. So write it down. Even if it's, I want to be a professional hand glider. Who cares? Write it down. It's coming from somewhere. I'm not saying act on it. I'm just saying write it down. Because you know what? Sometimes you write something down and you'll revisit it and go, oh, well, that's really silly. But you know what? That's given me another idea that really could work for me. So you never want to snuff out creativity. So spend a week doing that every morning and see what comes up. You'll start to see some themes. You know, the same thing keeps coming up over here, is bubbling up. I think there's something there for me to explore further. It's a healthy exercise. We should do that as a regular inventory, every quarter or every 6 months or something like that.
Yes, I think that is indeed very important. I've spoken to people whose dream was to help people. A lot of us have a dream to help people. And then they thought that form was going to be retreats, organizing retreats and have people come together and then have this massive transformational experience and then have them go home, which is a beautiful dream to have.
Sure. Yeah.
But then with the whole COVID thing, and when we suddenly weren't able to travel anymore, and then with the social distancing, and it's becoming less, but it's still not where it is. And then you also start thinking, well, how much future does this still have? And is this still also what I want, or how can I shift with these shifting times?
And yes, you can go back into creation mode. There's no limit to what you can create. I mean, it's been really cool to see how people have pivoted, right? Societies have pivoted, businesses have pivoted, individuals have, shifted as well. And like whenever there's when one door closes, another one opens, right? It's very true. There's so much more opportunity. Just you need to look for it. Give yourself permission to explore it. Get into creation mode again. Go for it. Get really creative.
Exactly. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been such a wonderful talk, Sandy. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm right into it with you.
Yes.
We're both on the same, on the same wavelength on so much of this, which is lovely. It's fabulous knowledge, awareness. What we're talking about, really, if you really, really embrace it, you'll have major shifts going on in your life.
Yes.
It's been lovely to talk about this.
Definitely. And those shifts can be scary. And of course, you can go through them by yourself. You don't have to have a coach or a mentor or someone to guide you. In the end, eventually, you will find your path if you just stick with it and do some of the things that we shared here today. But if you want to be more effective or reach your desired level of feeling comfortable and happy sooner, then it is wise to invest in someone that can help you navigate these waters, because Absolutely. It can be tricky by yourself. And if you're listening to this, or if you're watching this and you feel like, I'm in one of those rapid water shifts, if we go with the river analogy, and my boat is going everywhere, and sometimes I don't know what's up and down or forward or backwards, and I could use someone to talk to, then you can reach out to me, you can reach out to Sandy. I'll make sure that our contact information is below this episode. There are people out there, even more people than just the two of us, that are here to help you navigate and go to where you want to be. So I thought that was also an important thing to mention.
Absolutely. I always advise people, don't do it alone, right? We are way better together, whether it's Barbara, whether it's me, it doesn't matter. Just don't do it alone. We are, you have no idea how much your environment has been impacting your success. So to be in an environment of guidance and support and accountability and positivity around like-minded people will make the world of difference. So find that for yourself. Yeah,
exactly. Yes, I couldn't have said that any better. So while we're on the subject of people contacting us, where can people find you?
If they go to my website called inspireddestinies.com, You will see information about me. You'll see programs there, but there's just a button. You know, you can click the button just to book a time with me, have a free, I call it a celebrity call or coaching call, but to have a chat so I can hear where you're at, give you some advice over the phone just to help you get going. And if there's something that resonates that we can explore from a program perspective, because we have some high-powered programs, then happy to do that. But at the very least, I'd love to help people just get going, just get out of the, again, we're capable of so much. Don't get stuck in the past. Let's get you moving forward. And if we can do that on a call, let's make it happen.
Yes, I couldn't agree more. I have a similar call. I love the way you're calling it. I've been calling it many different things. It depends on the phase that I'm going through. At the moment, I'm calling it a virtual coffee chat because
there you go. I like that too.
Right, and it also has been a clarity call or a discovery call or a breakthrough call.
Yeah, I've used exactly. I've used a bunch of those, but I landed on celebrity call because our logo has shifted to spotlight on your inspired destiny. So the spotlight, we want to put you in the spotlight. You're the celebrity. So let's have a call.
Yes, I love that. So if you want to reach out to Sandy and have your celebrity call, then click the link below this episode and go to her and book a time. I'm pretty sure you will not be disappointed. And the same goes for me. If you want to have like a free coffee chat, and you know, tea is also allowed. It doesn't have to be. Then click my link and book a time with me, because I think it's really important that we just stick together and help each other as much as possible, because there are great things out there happening, and it's up to us to allow those things to come into our life.
And anyone who books a call with me, I'll send you that Funk Buster tool. I'll just email that to you. So there you go.
Awesome. Well, Sandy, it has been really amazing chatting with you today. I loved having you as a guest on my show. I'm very, very grateful for your presence here today and the wonderful things that we talked about. And I'd love to have you again in the future.
It's been such a privilege, Barbara. I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Have a great day, Sandy.
Thank you. You too.